Good evening. Hey, let me just start. Let me just start. I want to share something with you that really warmed my heart. First of all, Dan and I got a personal little love letter, and I'm not going to share that with you from a young lady. But this little love letter was to the church from the same young lady, and it says, "To the church from Sadie, best church ever. I love all of you." And she put it in the offering plate. Isn't that cool? Best church ever. Okay, my emphasis on the ever. I can't do it as good as Dan. Dan or Dan? Okay, Dan? I can do that real good. Hey, let's have a word. Do we have any announcements that come up during the week that we just need to be aware of? Or don't forget about Celebrate Recovery Tuesday night. Okay, we've got some new folks coming. So yes, ma'am.
Is it okay if I were to put something on Facebook?
I do, as long as I already do, but yes, you may. We just don't put any names on there. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
We just do Celebrate Recovery 6 o'clock. You know, every Tuesday night. The only exception to that is we will not do it on Valentine's Day, but yes, every Tuesday night. Anything? Anybody have any announcements? Well, appreciate y'all coming, and I'm excited. I'm excited to hear what Bridget has for us tonight. Bridget, let me start. Let me just ask you now. I've asked you this once before. Were you raised in this church from a child?
Mostly, yes.
Mostly.
We started getting coming here probably when I was 8 or 9.
So that was like 62, 63 years ago. I'm sorry. Touche. Well, let me, on that note, let me have a word of prayer and ask God's blessing on our service tonight. And we'll open with a song. Father in heaven, thank you for just a glorious day, a celebration day, celebrating your presence in your church. Father, I pray that you would be with each person tonight. I pray that you would touch Bridget, anoint her, Lord God, that she might share what you have placed upon her heart, that we might be the beneficiaries of that testimony. We give you thanks for all you're doing in our lives. We give you thanks for all you're doing in the midst of our church. And we just pray that we would continue to be sensitive to your leading and following your will for us individually and as a church. We give you honor and glory. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen.
Now, I wasn't going to do anything tonight. I was going to find something a cappella. But I opened it up. I honestly just opened up the hymn book. And the song was just so appropriate. In your hymn book, it's 352. We're going to sing this together, Victory in Jesus. And I just couldn't do it a cappella, so just forgive me for my guitar playing. It's not, it's the very basic. I'll mess it up, but just, you know what? If you sing loud, you won't have to listen to the guitar. All right? What? First and third verse. I heard no story how the Savior came from glory, how he paid the price on Calvary to save a wretch like me. I heard about his groaning, of his precious blood's atoning. Bridget, you are up. See, yeah, try to follow that.
I was nervous, so now
Now you're thinking it's comedy hour, so
this morning, I kind of jokingly asked Lisa if she's going to swap with me while we're in the choir, because she goes next week, because I had to follow Neil, and I've heard how wonderful his testimony was last week, so I will set that to follow, I think. Oh, yeah, she wouldn't swap with me. But anyway, when Randy asked me a few weeks ago to share my testimony, I ignored his text. I just okay, we'll just forget that one. So I didn't respond right away, but then I hesitantly later replied that sure, I would do this, but it's going to be very short, because I really didn't know what I was going to say. His reply was, even though I am short, but
Is the mic on?
But anyway, his reply was, God will take whatever blessings He will take. So, but I've thought many times since we've started doing the Layman's thing, what is my testimony? And I'm very, very nervous. And I told him it would be very, very short, and the more nervous I get, the faster I talk. So this may be really, really short. So, anyway, I thought about it many times. What is my testimony? What do I have to share? What do I have to say about who am I, who was I, now what am I have I become? Surely I've got something more to say than just God is good, amen. Because at the time, that's what I thought I had to say, because I didn't have anything to share. So I began praying and asking God to help me put it together, to show me and tell me what that I have to share. I've heard other people tell their testimonies about God's delivered them from drugs or alcohol, abusive homes. I didn't have any of that. I don't have any of that to share. So it's like, what do I have? All I really have is God is good, amen. That's it. I can't say anything more. So in my prayer, started praying to God for Him to show me what's for me to say. And for me to tell you about me, it was like, really, you've not had this hard knock life. You have been extremely blessed, and you think you've got nothing to share. That's shameful. So God actually shamed me in thinking that I've got nothing good to say, because I do. First of all, some of you have known me for a while. Some of you have even watched me grow up here. If I had to describe my childhood, I'd say pretty much picture perfect. I had good parents. They loved me, but Mom's always been there. But anyway, Mom's always been there. Whenever you call on her, she's there. Dad, he's always had a good job. Pretty much had everything we needed, and pretty much given us anything we wanted. So, preschool, I guess. Lived next door to grandparents, grew up next to cousins. I mean, like I said, everything was just kind of picture perfect. You just don't have anything to say. I was raised in church. Mom always made sure that we were in church. It was never a question when we got up on Sunday morning of, are we going to church? We just went to church. That was just never a question that you asked. You just go. When I was little, we went to Hickory Flat Freewill Baptist Church, and that's where my mom's parents went, my grandparents. And it's a very small church. They didn't have youth group or NYI or any kind of teams or anything like that much. So we were invited to come to Mary's Chapel. They had just started the caravan program. Miss Betty had started that, Miss Betty Perry, and she was the leader. And of course, who can not love Miss Betty Perry as a teacher? So it was a really good thing for us to come here. We would kind of go to both churches for a little while, and then didn't take long that we made the full-time move to start coming to Mary's Chapel. Like I said earlier, I was probably 8 or 9, something like that. I don't really know. Graduated from the caravan program and moved into the youth program. And Mom was the teacher of that, and we had a great youth group growing up here. We were really close. We would get together, have get-togethers on weekends, go out for pizza at the church. We just had a wonderful time as youth here. I guess that's one of the reasons why I have such a burden for our youth department now. It's because I know how great it was growing up, and I want them to have those same things because we were very close. And those church friends are really important. I was saved when I was 15, and as you know, it's easy to be a Christian at church with church friends. But away from church, it's a little bit harder. But even then, when I was away from church and with my other friends, I still wasn't this rebellious teenager. I wasn't out doing all these crazy, wild things. I was pretty much followed the rules, stayed out of trouble, was a good student. I was, I guess, pretty well liked in high school. If they didn't like me, they didn't tell me anyway. So, but that's why I struggle with my testimony. I mean, you look and you think, okay, this is what you got. There's nothing. It's all good. There's nothing bad for you to say what God delivered you from. But it wasn't always easy because even though I was saved when I was 15, that's when all the fun stuff started. You start dating and you start doing all this other stuff. But even then, being a Christian was more important to me than going out with my friends and partying and doing all those things. So I would be left out a lot of times because I wouldn't do those things. I can remember being asked at school or wherever, well, Bridget, why weren't you at the party this weekend? Oh, I guess you probably had church. Or let's don't ask Bridget to go. She's probably going to be on her knees praying. These are things that upsets me. Oh, wait, I get emotional about that. Yeah. But anyway, those are things that you hear as a teenager, and it's just kind of hard, because I wasn't this carry my Bible to school with me, preach at you, you're going to hell because you was at the party. I mean, that wasn't me. I wasn't out there teaching and doing all this stuff to people at school. I mean, I just didn't go. I just didn't participate. I didn't fault you for it, for going. I just didn't want to do it myself. But anyway, sit back and I look at it and I think, well, why share all that petty stuff? That's just kids being kids. But putting all this together, all that little petty high school drama, those comments that were made led me through what I did go through in finding who I am. Hearing all of that and being left out of all of their social activities, and I was pretty much a loner. I had friends, but going out with other people, I just kind of pulled myself back into my own little world or whatever. So I had very low self-esteem and didn't think very highly of myself. I just wasn't good enough for anything. People didn't want to hang out with me. I didn't want to do this or do that. That was me thinking. That's not the way that it actually was, but that's just the way that my mind was going at the time, and I just became a loner. I just stayed by myself. I can remember thinking, okay, if you want to fit in, just go to the party. It's not going to be that big a deal. Just go. You can stand there if they offer you a beer. Stand there and hold the bottle in your hand. Don't you have to drink it? You don't have to do anything wrong. Just stand there. But even then, it was like, okay, stand there, or are you going to say it? So I just stayed. That was just another way. It was just easier to be by myself. So, as the old saying goes, you give the devil an inch and he's going to take a mile. Well, I let him have his inch. I graduated high school, college, and got a job. and all that petty high school stuff's over. I'm away from all that. I get to be an adult now. Yay, I'm grown up. Well, the devil knew my weakness. He knew that I had this low self-esteem, and he knew exactly where he could go to break me. And that's exactly what he set out to do. Because now he's convinced me that I'm not good enough, that I'm not. This whole thing of me, just pushing me down, this can't. You can't do this, you can't do that. Can't became my thing. So, it was one of those things there that I became determined that I was going to show them I could. Because my thought about, at the time, at that young of an age, being a Christian to me was more about the doing things. It was about what I was doing. It was not about a relationship with God. It was about how much you do this or how much you do that. It was about the deeds that I was doing. And the past few weeks, Randy's lessons and messages, I thought every time within the past few weeks, it's like, okay, he's been reading my notes this week because all those lessons have had something to do, or I have come away with something that I can say, okay, he's cheating. But I became so obsessed with being the perfect Christian and doing good things that I let all of that get in the way of my relationship with God. I was more about pleasing others and doing what others thought that I should do than trying to please God and doing what He wanted me to do. It was like, okay, your friends are thinking that you're doing this and you can't mess up. I mean, it was this whole, I can't mess up. I cannot screw this up now. You know, you're doing good. You're doing on this path. You cannot mess up. But the whole time, the devil is still telling me, you're still just not good enough. You can never do enough. You won't ever be able to do enough. So it became this whole, I gotta do more. And a few weeks, 3 months back now, I guess actually, Jeff shared before he became a Christian that how he thought that it was impossible to live up to Betty and Hubert, and how they were the sign of perfection or whatever. And that was kind of me. I compared myself to other people in church, and it was like, I can never be that. I can never do that. So it all seemed like it was impossible to do. If you know me, you know that I'm a list maker. So it's on my list, check. It's going to come off. I'm going to get it done. You give me a list of something, and it's going to come off the list. So then it became this whole read my Bible, check. Go to church, check. I was getting all these check marks that we talked about so many times. I got pretty good at it because it was one of those things that every day I made sure I read my Bible. I made sure I said my prayers. I made sure I did this. But I was doing it all for the wrong reasons. It was all about me because it became all about what Bridget has done. Bridget did this. Bridget did that. It was not about I was doing this because I needed to. I would read my Bible, but I wouldn't be studying my Bible. It was just words. I was just going through through the motions just to get my check. I would say my prayers, but it was kind of like the whole God is great, God is good. Let us thank Him for our food. I mean, it wasn't this whole talking to God relationship that I had with Him. It was just basically all about getting my check mark. But then, even that became an obsession because getting my check marks became so important that if I didn't get one, I'd wake up in a panic because I was sinning that I didn't get to pray that day. Or I didn't get to read my Bible that day. So I'd wake up after midnight sometime because I didn't read my Bible on January 27th. Well, January 28th, I'm reading 2 chapters instead of 1 because I got to make up for what I didn't read on the 27th. Like God really cared. I wasn't really studying His Word anyway. But anyway, I would wake up and I'd read. Or the same thing with praying. I'd wake up and it'd be like, okay, I was sinning because I didn't pray the night before I went to bed. Well, I mean, it was just whole mind thing that the devil was playing with me in my mind. So, even radio. All Christian music. I wouldn't dare listen to anything other than Christian music because I was just, you just don't do that. I listen to Christian music. Like I said, it was all about trying to be perfect, but it was all about me. In Randy's lesson Wednesday night, one of the verses that he read, and like I said, didn't read in my notes, but was Romans 8:5, and it says, "Those who live according to the flesh have their minds set on what the flesh desires, but those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires." I look back and I think, okay, reading your Bible, praying, listening to Christian music, those are all good things, so how can that be something bad? But even the devil was using those good things to try and start to destroy me and my faith. And that's what he had set out to do. He had set out to destroy me. But I'm not going to give him all the credit because God had to allow it to happen. Because I had gotten a little bit too big for my britches, thinking I'm all holier than thou, and I'm too good for this, and I'm too good for that. So God had to knock me down a notch too. And then I'm still trying to do more and more, and trying to get my little check marks marked off because I'm this goody two shoes. But the devil then hit me with his biggest one. And it was, okay, if you really love God, and if you're really going to do anything he tells you to do, and you're really willing, then you're going to be a missionary. That's not me. I knew that wasn't me. And it wasn't me, because that's not what I was called to do. But it was like, you're going to leave. You're going to go leave all this good stuff behind. You know, you've got all this, you had this good family, you had this good life, but you're going to leave it all behind. And you're fixing to be laid off and sending you off to some third world country to teach in caves and hide in dungeons and all this other stuff. This is where you're headed. Because, I mean, in my mind at that time, that's what a missionary was. You just go over there and you hide out. So that's where I was, that's my mind, where I was headed. And I was literally scared out of my mind. It was just, you just don't do that. I'm not going to do that, or I couldn't do that. So, and then again, for somebody who was so obsessed with getting their check marks, this was one check mark I did not want. I battled big time. I battled for a long, long time with this. I'd wake up crying at night because this is something I didn't want to do. And at the time in my mind, if I couldn't do it, then I'm going to hell. I'm sinning and I'm going to hell. And this was something that I knew, but there was never any peace about it at all. And I made myself miserable with it. I prayed for God to open and close doors. You know, this is what you really want me to do, and you're going to have to just guide me through it. You're going to have to show me that this is where you want me to go. Doors never opened. Peace never came. You know, I would even sit back and I would even say, okay, you know, I've got to have some kind of peace. Yes, I will go. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll go wherever you want me to go. But there was never any peace with it. Even when I would say yes, there was never a peace, and it never would come. By that time then, after such a long battle, I had allowed the devil to take away my joy of being a Christian. Being a Christian then was no longer fun. It wasn't. It went from wanting to read my Bible to I didn't want to open it up, because if I opened it up, I'd read about Jonah getting swallowed by a fish because he wouldn't go to Nineveh. Or I would read about, you know, and I'm thinking all this kind of stuff, you know, all these things, all these stories about following Jesus or about Jesus calling the disciples and them dropping everything, leaving their family behind, and that's the things that I would open up and read, and it was just like, okay, this is what God's telling you to do. And or I wouldn't even want to come to church because the choir would sing "Where He Leads I'll Follow." I'm not going. I mean, you know, it's like there's something there. I mean, it's just not. And it was anyway. It was just not fun to be a Christian anymore. There was no joy at all there. Then one day, of course, like I said, I had battled and battled and battled, and I'd sit and cry. I would sit at my desk at work for no reason and cry. I'd wake up in the middle of the night for no reason, and I'd be crying. Driving down the road, I'd cry. I mean, it was just like I was just a basket case all the time. One day, Dad came by the office at work. I worked at the hospital. And he came by the office, and he just came to the door, and he said, "Come on, you're going with me." Well, I remember cried all the way to the doctor's office, cried while I was in the waiting room, and got to the back there with the doctor on the table. He had to go back there with me because I couldn't talk. I was sitting there crying. So, of course, it didn't take a doctor to tell someone that I was depressed. So, they put me on medicine, and I started to take the medicine, and of course, I started to feel better, but the thought of what I'm battling was still going through my mind. Not being good enough, and I still got to do more and more and more. Brother Smith and Diane, they were our pastor at the time, and Mom went to talk to Brother Smith one day and tell him what I was going through and what I was battling with. And Brother Smith he even told her, he said, "No, this is not a God calling." He said, "God doesn't want her miserable. You know, she is absolutely miserable. This is not a God thing." And he said, "And besides, if you were to even go in front of the missionary board, they'd lock her out of the room. This is not a God thing. She's not being called to be a missionary." Besides, I would have been totally useless to him anyway. I mean, I can't imagine trying to witness to somebody crying. "This is what you want." This is God. So, anyway, finally after all of this, and I had struggled for so long with it, finally I did get my peace. One morning when I got up, I still lived at home, and one morning when I got up, Mom, she came in there, because I was getting ready to go to work or wherever, and she told me she had been praying, and she had been up most of the night, praying and reading her Bible. And she said, God showed me this, and I want you to read it. And at the time, some of you may remember, there was a magazine, they still do it, I don't know, but it was the Herald of Holiness. And it had articles in it, just different little magazine type thing. And she brought it to me, I handed it to me, and on the side of it, and big, kind of in a bolded area off to the side, there was a big headline type thing, and it said, I need missionaries in your church and community too. And the article was about serving God and what it was to be a missionary. And it's not just a missionary over in these third world countries. It's not that. There was an instant peace in reading that article. I had not felt that kind of peace in a very, very, very long time. That's what God was calling me to do. And now I see that it was, I was the one that was making it hard. His call to me was very simple. It was like, okay, Bridget, you've got a little bit too big for your bridges. I had to knock you down a little bit because you had not given myself to him. I had been saved, but I had not truly given everything to him. You were so consumed with yourself that I had to get you out of the way. So he knocked me down, and he allowed me to be knocked down so that he could truly sanctify me. Because like I said, it wasn't about anything to do with him. It was about minding his relationship and how he had faith. Even though I was trying to do everything I could for him, there was no one-on-one contact with him. Then doors started opening. That's when I started teaching the NYI, took over, and started teaching the youth department, and I did that over how many years that I taught them. Then I moved into the caravan program and started helping Miss Betty with the kids, and then she stepped down and I took over. And as you know, I did that for 15 years, and then I realized that it was time to move on from there. That was probably I've had different roles in the church. I've been secretary, I have served as treasurer, I have been on board, Sunday school teacher, I've had several different roles. But giving up that children's ministry was probably the hardest one I've ever had to do. Not because I did it for so long, and not because of anything. I think it's because I am called to teach. That is my call. God didn't call me to go to some third world country in a dungeon. He called me to teach in our dungeon downstairs. That's my dungeon, so he didn't call me there. But I did realize that it was time to move on, and I took a few months for a break, as you know. And I have never felt so out of place during that break of not teaching as I have for 15 years, because I have always been doing something, and I have felt like a fish out of water. It's just like I just don't feel, it's just not me. So I started teaching a Sunday school class again. I'm teaching our kids, and I'm not the best teacher. As a matter of fact, I told them they got the short end of the stick this week. Avery had to teach in her Sunday school class, and I was preparing for this and trying to prepare a Sunday school lesson, and Sunday school lesson was just down here this morning. It just didn't go well. But for me, it did. Maybe they got something out of it. But that's kind of my church story. But to kind of tell you how all that did make me who I am, at the ladies' breakfast a couple of weeks ago, Lisa made the comment that I'm hard to read and that I'm very guarded. And that is very true about me. I know that. But I think that comes from me shutting myself off and being alone for so many years and just trying to handle things on my own, that I do shut myself off to a lot of people, and I am guarded. I don't put my emotions out there. I don't talk about my feelings with other people. That's just who I am. It's not that I'm not happy. I am happy, but that's just me. I still have a good life. God blessed me in my childhood. He's still blessing me. I know He's got many, many more lessons to go. Since putting all of this together, Ann gave me this book a few weeks ago, and it's for my Sunday school class, and it's actually devotion for teenagers. And I was looking through it the other week, trying to find something to just talk about with them in class, and I turned to this page, and I'll read what this says. It says, if you find yourself bound up by the chains of perfectionism, it's time to ask yourself who you're trying to impress and why. If you're trying to impress other people, it's time to reconsider your priorities. Your first responsibility is to the Heavenly Father who created you and to His Son who saved you. Then you bear a powerful responsibility to your family. But when it comes to meeting society's unrealistic expectations, forget it. When you accepted Christ as your Savior, God accepted you for all eternity. Now it's your turn to accept yourself and your loved ones. When you do, you'll feel tremendous weight being lifted from your shoulders. After all, pleasing God is simply a matter of obeying His commandments and accepting His Son. But as for pleasing everybody else, that's impossible. Then a James Dobson quote is, the happiest people in the world are not those who have no problems, but the people who have learned to live with these things that are less than perfect. And then the Max Lucado quote, what makes a Christian is not perfection, but forgiveness. So when I opened to those just kind of hit me right on the nose. So while preparing for all this, and I look back and see who I was and where I am now in my Christian walk, I didn't have this hard life. I didn't have to be delivered from drugs or alcohol, but I do have a testimony. I do have something to share other than God is good, amen. Like I thought. I only thought I had. I realized that I can't be perfect, and I'm going to mess up, and I mess up very, very often, and I just can't beat myself up over it. But I've also come to realize, like I said, God did deliver me. He had to deliver me from myself, and He does that all the time, and that was my deliverance. So I do ask for you to pray for me, but that's it. So God did that.
You're in good company when you're talking about being imperfect. Amen.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't a slam, man. But I wanted to say something. I was reminded tonight today. I was reminded that 7 years ago today, I lost a dear brother, or a dear friend. Lisa lost a dear brother, and this congregation lost a mighty warrior who was bold in his witnessing and bold in his testifying. And I want you to know that Randy is celebrating in heaven right now. You started to sort of compare yourself with other folks giving their testimony. You will never know the effect that you have on so many people here.
Amen.
You talk about low self-esteem and finding out who you are. That was an incredible testimony, and you edified the church through that. Okay, I want to pray for you. Father in heaven, thank you. Thank you for using Bridget to speak to so many about the importance of loving who we are, not trying to be someone we're not, but understanding that you love us and you forgive us, and in your eyes we are perfect. I thank you for that message, and I thank you, Lord, again for tonight. And I pray, Lord, that we would continue to carry your Spirit throughout this week in school and work and home, in our community. May your Spirit use us, our mouths, our hands, and our feet, to reach those who are unlovable, to reach those who are not worthy, as none of us are. Thank you again for all that you're doing in us and through us. In Christ's name, amen. Next week, Lisa's up, and I need more folks. I need some people to sign up. I think I have. Yes, sir.
I just want to say one thing. I'm just happy I didn't have to call Bridget. Sorry, Lisa.
Well, Bridget asked me this morning if I wanted to swap places with her, and I never connected until this morning. It hit me. God has a reason for everything. Randy hadn't looked at his list to see that Bridget was next, and I had offered to come after you, but if I'd have tried to stand up here tonight on the day that my brother died, I would have never been able to utter a word. I would not have. So, it was meant to be for a reason. So I'm going to try not to cry next Sunday. Because y'all know better.
Amen. For those of you who did not know Randy, man, what a loss. What a loss for you, because he brightened many folks' lives and challenged many folks to be bold. Amen.
Yes, he was.
So, getting back to what I was saying, after next week, I don't have anybody signed up. And I know you don't want to listen to me and Marcus preaching on Sunday night. No. Amen. So before you leave tonight, sign up. And if you've already been up here, if God's laid something else on your heart, that's what this is about. Okay, we're family, and it is obviously feeding. It is obviously feeding us. Look at how we are growing. Okay. Well, speaking of which, I'm glad you brought that up, because Tony, we need to. I keep forgetting. I apologize, but on your way out, if you don't mind, put $1 in the plate, a couple dollars in the plate if you've got. Every dollar that we raise on Sunday nights goes to local missions. It just goes to help people in the local community. It doesn't leave this area. It doesn't go out to the mission field. It doesn't go to headquarters or anywhere else. It stays here. So if you can help us out, that's great. And I got to get in the mindset of doing that Sunday nights, Tony. But you're talking and you're so rude. But this Layman's night is obviously a good thing, and it's feeding a lot of people. It's helping a lot of people. It's encouraging a lot of people, and so step up and be a part of that. Don't just be the recipient of it. Be a part of it. Amen.
Amen.
All right, you're free to go. God bless you. All right, put that plate up there before you leave.